What's up, YouTube family? I'm back with a highly anticipated video. You guys have been asking and asking and asking, and I got it. I bought the holy grail of highly textured hair, okay? I'm doing a silk press on type 4 hair today. She has a ton of hair, extremely dense, and I can't wait to get into it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're following me on all my social media accounts, Instagram at @TravelLavar, Facebook, Travell Anderson, and actually make sure you follow me on Clubhouse as well. I got some future dialogue coming up that I'd love for you to be a part of. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the video. So this is a longtime client of mine back in New Jersey. She has a ton of hair, as you can see. All right, I cannot work with this hair without working in sections, okay? It's the biggest point in terms of execution. Make sure you have control of the hair. Don't just dive in. You will overwhelm yourself and hurt the client, all right? You want them comfortable. No tugging, no yanking, just be in control, all right? Section that hair out. So before I start my blow dry process, you already know I got it in the shampoo bowl. I did not record simply because this was a lot of work. I had to put some elbow grease in and I was not focused on recording at the moment, but you can check out my other video down below that has my shampoo technique, all right? So again, working in sections, you know I believe in stretching and the tension method. When I first start blow drying, I'm going to stretch about 80 to 85% of that texture out and then let my brush and my blow dryer do the work. You know my go-to method for blow drying and for a silk press is the brush and the dryer. Some people use a pick, some people use a round brush. Trav uses a paddle brush and a blow dryer. I believe it's the most comfortable and it's the most gentle on the strands. That's just my method, not down to anybody else's. It works for you, work it. This is mine. All right. You'll see that as I go in sometimes around the hairline. I know I sped this up. I do oscillate the heat on my dryer between medium and high heat. Anytime I'm working next to the scalp or very close to the hairline, I turn the heat down. Why? That hair is more fragile. It's also closer to the skin and you don't need that much heat to get it straight, okay? And you don't want to burn your guests. I don't care what anybody says, burns are not normal. I'm gonna say it again. Burns are not normal. I know they taught you beauty is pain. I'm going to tell you they taught you wrong. It's not painful. It should not be. When there's pain, that's the hair and the scalp letting you know it does not like what it's getting and it's going to come out, okay? It's not normal. Stop hurting people. I said that. All right. Again, working in sections, I make sure I apply product to each individual section as I'm blow drying. When it comes to highly dense hair like this, I do not apply product on at once. I believe that it does not get properly distributed throughout the whole head of hair. And I need product on every one of those strands. Number one, to make sure it gets smooth and also to make sure that each strand is protected. If I just work and put product on the top of the hair, it does not make it to the inside and her hairline ends up being the only part that's protected, and the middle and back of her hair has no product on it, okay? Some of the steam you see coming off the blow dryer is from product and heat protecting. The hair is not burning. Do not be alarmed. Do not be alarmed. It's normal. You're working with a dense head of hair. There's a lot of moisture in here. There's a lot of product. Something's going to burn off. I'd rather it be the product, okay? And look at the shine on her hair as we blow dry it out. She is completely natural, guys. She comes into the salon maybe 3, sometimes 4 times a year, and she just gets a blowout, her trim, and her silk press. That's it. For the most part, she does her hair at home. She either does a twist out or it's up in the bun. She's one of those clients, she has so much hair, wash day is long, she don't have time to deal with it. She'll probably literally wear this silk press for about 3 to 4 weeks, okay? She has a healthy scalp and a healthy head of hair. It is dense, okay? But continue with my blow dry process. I told you before, when I get close to the face or close to the scalp, I oscillate my heat down to medium heat. I'll either use my cool shot button to cool my dryer off, but I do not go against the scalp with high heat. It is painful, it is uncomfortable. No one wants to be burned and it's not normal. You can get the root straight with medium heat and tension. Tension is the key. It's not just heat. If you go after just heat, you will not properly stretch the hair out as much as possible for your silk press service, and you'll find yourself doing more work with the flat iron than is necessary, okay? The flat iron's job is to smooth. It is not there to straighten. Its job is to smooth. The straightening comes in through the blow dry. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what new technique comes out, what new tool that says you don't have to stretch the hair or blow dry it before you press. I disagree. And it is a recipe for heat damage because you're going to be working hard with that flat iron to get it straight. Also, you're not properly putting the hair in a proper state chemically. Hear me, chemically to be straightened, okay? There's tons of videos out there that talk about this. I'm not going into it, but your hair needs to be stretched, okay? It prevents heat damage, and it also ensures the silk press is going to last until she washes her hair again, okay? So work your way all the way through. The entire blow dry process took me a little over 20 minutes. I know I've seen techniques out where they get it done faster. I'm very thorough with this process. I don't like to miss a single strand. I want it straight with my blow dryer, okay? So by the time my flat iron hits it, it's going to be one pass smooth, okay? Work your way all the way to the top through the front. The products I used on her were my Mizani Sleek Guard, my 25 Miracle leave-in conditioning spray, and I also used the Smooth Guard Serum. That is it. There was no additional product applied at all throughout this process. Same 3 products. Her hair was shampooed with a clarifying shampoo twice, and then I went back in with a moisturizing shampoo, and then I conditioned her underneath my steamer also. I also incorporated something this time into her shampoo process that I have not done before. I did a pre-treatment with Olaplex. So I wet her hair down, applied steps 1 and 2, and let them sit. And when I tell you, it completely changed the manageability of her hair at the bowl. Detangling literally took me all of 2 minutes to get through her entire head. It was so easy. Her hair was manageable. It wasn't softened like a conditioner would do necessarily, but the strands were all put in a place where they were healthy enough to be combed out easily without detangling. All right, that cuticle is super smooth, and you can see that now. So going in with my 1-inch iron just to get the hairline first. All of my irons for this particular press, I believe, are set at 370. All right, and that's pretty low. Normally, I'm a 400 guy, but because this blow dry got so straight, I was able to lower the temperature on my irons down to 370 and get the same result. And I love it. I love it when I can lower my temperature. It just means less work with the flat iron, less heat on the hair. And that is the goal, okay? The goal is not fast. The goal is not just to get her in and out of the salon. The goal is to make sure she has no heat damage. Her hair is just as healthy when she steps in the salon, if not healthier than when she leaves, okay? Take small sections. Do not work in sections that you cannot handle. And it's important that you do section, okay? This particular iron that I'm using, I know you're gonna ask, is by SexyHair. It's called the Smooth Lock Pro. I've actually had this iron for a couple years now. I'm not sure if it's still on the market, but it's one of my workhorses when it comes to long, thick heads of hair. It takes larger sections as it has a plate that's 2 times as long as a regular flat iron. So I'm able to work very fast with this particular iron and get large sections just as straight as I would with my other irons using smaller sections, okay? And this iron is set to 370 degrees, okay? And usually most of the time when I use this iron, that's kind of the temperature I work around, anywhere between 370 and 385. It's a great temperature. It works for her. It's good, okay? A quick tip, I know I got mentioned in the comments before. Some people were asking, how do I, get the edges straight, especially that back hairline? The trick is to actually press on a diagonal, okay? You're gonna do a much better job aligning the iron and your hands closer to the scalp without burning, of course, to make sure you get all those smaller hairs that sometimes get left out of that back section. Also, in the back of the head, take finer sections so you can make sure you get all those little finer hairs along the hairline. This prevents the need from a smaller iron going ahead and going in and pressing that out first. I know that's a go-to technique for some people using a miniature iron to get the edges or get the hairline in the back and the front. But sometimes when you do that, you just remember you are putting an extra pass on the hair, and that's an extra potential for heat damage. For a guest that wears her hair natural 90% of the time, I take extra caution on every step to make sure her hair is protected. So I try to limit my passes and do as little heat as possible with this iron so that I'm not causing any heat damage, okay? You are more likely to cause heat damage with the iron than you are with the dryer. Just remember that the dryer does not get as hot as the flat iron. Now it's hot, don't get me wrong, but it's not as hot and less likely to cause any type of heat damage on the hair. And also the hair, when it's in its wet state, I've heard so many myths and rumors and things around, well, you shouldn't be drying the hair when it's wet. The hair is most fragile in its wet state. Yes, this is true, but it's also the most pliable. You want to stretch the hair when it's wet, not when it's dry. After it's dry, the hair has entered into a relock state, okay? Those bonds have locked back into place, and they are those hydrogen bonds, and they have re-solidified when the hair is dry. If I go in and try to re-manipulate and try to get it to another state, stretching it out, more than likely somebody's getting broken inside the hair shaft. There's a bond that's being just hurt, okay? We don't want that. Stretch the hair out when it's wet. That's the best time to do it. I know there's a lot of information out there, guys, and as a stylist, I have to apologize. You know why? Because we left the natural movement to itself. I can admit that when everyone was transitioning out of relaxers, people were going over to, natural hair care. The stylists, unfortunately, we were the last to catch up. And I know I can get some flack on this. I'll have some stylists that'll fight back. I don't care. I'm secure. Me and my clients are good. I know what I'm talking about. We left y'all to yourselves. So now we have tons of YouTubers, no shade, that are educating without licenses, without scientific background. And we develop all these myths and misconceptions when it comes to how we deal with hair. There is a science to this. There's a proven, workable science to this and to hair care, guys. And we have to get back to science. We've made up a lot of stuff. And I know it's easy to look at someone's video of how they do their hair at home. That is their hair, their particular head of hair, and they only have that head of hair to work with. When you work with multiples, you know the difference, okay? Everybody's hair is different, needs to be treated differently, and if you use the laws of hair science and chemistry, you'll have a successful result every time, all right? Stick to chemistry, stick to science. Let's stop experimenting, all right? The hairstylists are back. And my goal is to make the chair a safe place again where not only I'm educated, but my clients are educated on what are best practices when it comes to their hair. All right, now y'all been asking me for this, the trim, okay? So when we're trimming hair, ideally the goal is to trim off the last 1/8 inch of a hair, or what we call a dusting. Now, all of it is a haircut, okay? Because my scissors are out and some hair is being cut, okay? Period. But we call it a trim in our world, all right? So she gets a trim usually sometimes twice or 3 times a year. She doesn't get it trimmed often. Her ends are pretty healthy. I do have those very few unicorn clients that can go whole years without getting their hair trimmed, and literally I might cut off 1 inch. It's just good. I don't recommend it to everybody. Don't try it at home. It may or may not work. You know when you need your ends clipped, don't hold on to those dead ends, guys. They're just going to split up the hair shaft and cause the hair to shed out at the root, or you have a head full of ends. You'll notice your styles won't last. Your hair will be tangly. It'll get matted easily. You'll have tons of single strand knots, especially with tight full hair. Get trimmed on time. Don't try to stretch it out and say, well, I'm going to just cocoon them or moisturize them. Just don't do it. Trim them off, all right? The best treatment for split ends is scissors, and that's on period, all right? You can see how healthy her hair is. When we trim, I'm not relayering her hair. She does wear it curly. She does do wash and goes every now and again, so I keep that in mind when I'm trimming. I bring her hair up to a little over a 90-degree angle, and that ensures all the hair falls similar in length. She'll have some long layering towards the bottom of her hair only, but for the most part, I don't want to alter the shape. When hair starts to get this long, and you lift the hair up too far to layer, you're gonna create shelves. And I see some curly girls come in that complain, my hair falls in a shelf. And it's usually because of the way it was trimmed. If you lift up too high or layer this hair too much, it is too long for those layers to connect. And 9 times out of 10, most people are not being are paying enough attention to that because the hair is straight, so you're not considering it. You have to consider that when you're trimming the hair, even when it's straight. She wears her hair curly, all right? So I'm careful when I'm trimming to make sure I'm maintaining that curly shape. I'm trimming with those angles in mind. Angles and math do not lie, period. It doesn't matter what state I trim the hair in. As long as I keep those angles and that math in mind, I'll have the same result when she wears her hair curly as I do when it wears straight, all right? She's gonna have nice smooth ends. Her curly cut will still fall into place and her hair will still look great, all right? Again, if I pull it up too high or put too much layer into the hair, it's going to disconnect, and she'll have these shelves almost that sit where her curls don't blend together and they sit on top of each other. Very important. Pay attention to it. You have to adjust with each client. This is to the stylist. Treat each client differently, okay? Do not go in and just get on autopilot. It's so easy when we get busy in the salon to go on autopilot. We're just blowing out and trimming, flat iron, back to back to back. Turn off autopilot. The best way I do this is I shut all my tools down between services. This signals for me, this is somebody new in my chair. I cannot treat Susie like Sally, okay? Or I'm gonna burn Susie's hair out because Susie don't got Sally's hair, okay? Treat it differently. Pay attention. And this is the selling point. I'm not selling myself, but this is the selling point of my chair. Everyone feels different. They have a customized experience. I'm not doing a cookie cutter haircut or a cookie cutter service on each client, okay? I'm taking note on each client's head of hair. And I love hair, so I want to see those differences. I want to pay attention to those differences. It's what makes my job fun. No 2 clients are alike. No 2 heads of hair are alike, so I adjust myself to that, okay? So important, and this is what helps us keep that communication line open between guests so they know they can trust their stylist and they can sit in the chair and go to sleep Most of my clients go to sleep. I want to have conversations with them. I want to know about the kids. But what ends up happening, they've been working all week. They got kids at home. When they get in the chair, they want to relax. And they want to do that without the fear that their stylists are going to mishandle their hair, okay? We got to do better. And I say that as a hairstylist, we can do better. We have the skill sets. We have the knowledge. We have to connect that passion. I'm all done, y'all. Y'all can see her hair. It's flowy. It's beautiful. I hope I hit enough points in here to satisfy you guys. But if I didn't, ask questions in the comments. I've been getting so many and I love them. What I'm going to start doing is actually compiling these questions and answering your questions on Clubhouse. So if you haven't already, go over to Clubhouse and make sure, hopefully you got an invite, and go ahead and follow me on there. Message me, send me your questions. And if you're in the Chicago area, book me. Jersey, I'm coming back home soon. All right. Love y'all. Like and subscribe. Bye.